Welcome to International Racing League. This is IRL F1 Season 6, Round 5 in the USA Grand Prix. Today we've got a few new drivers who have turned up today. As you probably can see, VSR Marquez as Odams. And I believe, at the moment we've only got 10 people. Yeah, there will be more people turn up, Cameron, I believe there should be anyway. People haven't forgot. Just remember to invite them and that. There's another new driver just turned up, I'll mention in a minute. As ILRT Louis, as I believe, let me just send the information correctly. As ILRT Louis is Louis Welsh. He's in the Alfa Romeo with one of the debut drivers from in Canada, Harrison Seeley, as Harrison. So he will be teaming up with Louis in the Alfa Romeo, since now Alfa Romeo have got a new pairing. Any new faces in the announcement? Nope, nobody new so far, as we're waiting for everyone to turn up. As I will go over the championship standings currently. Just give me a second. Let's now go on the updated standings. Currently in first place, who got a 25-point gap now ahead of Jay from last race he had, since Jay retired in Canada, so that was unfortunate for Jay, but Matthew took another 25 points to his name and is now on 86 points in the lead. Mark Espy moves himself to second place with 53 points, and Jay George Bridge was only a few points behind with 51. Jack Hoyle, the defending IRL F1 champion this season, is currently in fourth with 33 points. Brandon Glover in fifth with 30 points, and Sondre Sorhaug in sixth with 28 points. As Khan in seventh with 26 points. Amir with 18 points as he's a reserve. And in ninth and 10th, Leon Bentley in ninth with 15 points, and 10th Nino Romanello with 10 points. As we'll have a look at the constructors. As far, I've only gone for the top 10, so cause I think we should be going underway very shortly. But the constructors is got a very big lead currently right now for the Renault team, 114 points, and their closest rivals in second place is Haas F1 team with 58 points. See if the Haas team can close them down today with third place Red Bull Racing, which is also a strong pairing with Odams and Jay. So Renault have got to now watch out now behind their backs. Mercedes with fourth with 40 points. Toro Rosso fifth with 32 points. Racing Point in sixth with 26 points. McLaren with 19 points. Ferrari in eighth with 14 points. And Alfa and Williams tying for 9th and 10th with 8 points. But still, the only people in the driver's standings who haven't scored a point yet was Tyler Rose, but he's no longer part of the Alfa Romeo team. Is Brett and Samuel Nazar. So they're the only people who haven't scored points. Same with Odams, Louis Welsh. As it looks like we are going underway with 10 drivers, it looks like, which isn't. Oh, what's going on currently? Lights about to get ready in the lobby. Yes, I don't understand why the lobbies are a bit low at the moment. It will be getting hopefully fixed, because this isn't the best turnout so far. We've had a few low turnouts, and hopefully it'll be fixed by next week, where people will be turning up. I know a few people couldn't make it today and with the reasons, so it's understandable. Looks like we're only going to have 10 drivers today then, so everyone can score points. As currently it's sunny in USA right now, so dry running for qualifying, but what about the race? The race could have wets. Yeah, I'll get everything set up correctly. Telemetry, yeah, I'll have that one as well. As I can already hear a car going, revving its engine. I think it's further down the grid, so it could be a Haas. It looks actually like a McLaren, so it's Lee Kelly. It looks like he's going to be the first one out. Nope, it is a Haas driver, and I think that's Cameron Young. Yes, it is. Cameron Young's made it back after a few weeks off. It's good to see him back. See what Cameron can do today. His teammate is second in the championship currently right now, who has turned up in Mark Espy, so let's see what he can do. As he's lagged out the session, it looks like, so hopefully he has a spare invite, because spectators can't invite them. As Cameron's the only one out on hard tyres, and Can's the only one out on mediums. Everybody else is on softs. Now, I'm going to go for my qualifying prediction now anyway, but is the chance of winning the race? We'll have to wait and see. Okay, alright, Mark. Mark here. Oh, damn it, Mark. Can you not try and join Sondre's party and go through there? If anyone else is watching the stream, can someone send a Mark and invite? Because I can't. But anyway, back to the qualifying prediction. I think Jay's going to take pole, with Odham's close behind in second, with Louis actually in third. I don't believe Matthew's going to be that high up. I think he's going to be fourth today in the qualifying order, but the race could be a different scenario. We have to wait and see what the weather's like. As Marcus made it back to session, it's good to see you guys have turned up. As Cameron's now about to start his lap, so here we go with Cameron Young. As he's now approaching turn 1, staying in 7th gear, doesn't go up to 8th. But straight to second low for the first corner. Nice tidy exit as this far. Now he's approaching turn 2, the very fast section now with turn 3, 4 and 5. It's the first S, now the next S. Nice tidy up so far, but a lot of gear shifting there from Cameron Young, so he's not happy right now with the way the car's handling. Now he's approaching turn 8 and 9. Little kink of turn 10 coming up now. Now this is where you've got to save a bit of your ERS, but now use most of the ERS down this main straight after turn 11, and now he's got to put the foot to the floor, and that is definitely going to be invalid. I don't believe that is not invalid. That has to be invalid. He did go miles over the white line. I have to wait and see what Cameron will do. Will he peel into the pits, or will he stay out? Nice and tidy through turn 12. Now approaching turn 13 and 14. Oh, bit of the rear kicked out there from the Haas driver of Cameron. Now into turn 15 and 16. You've got to make sure you get a good exit out of here, or you can lose a lot of time as he runs wide again and goes over the white line. Now the fast right, turn 17 and 18 now. See what Cameron can do. Approaching now turn 19. The final 2 corners. Let's see what he can do around this final corner. He's almost out of ERS. Final corner to go. And see what time he does. A 1:34.5 provisional pole. And he'll go on board with Louis now, who's, I believe, in turn 11 he's just come out of. As Can's just set the new pole position time, 1:33.2 on a set of medium tyres. As Louis Welsh, one of the new drivers who've turned up as Odham's, also one of the new drivers at 31.2 on a set of soft tyres, takes pole by a few seconds there. And now we'll stay on board with Louis and see what he can do with his debut race today. It's a bit wide into turn 15 and 16, probably to get a better exit though. into turn 17 and 18. I apologise there. As it yells in sector 2, so someone may have made a mistake. Owens is almost, sorry, Louis is almost out of ERS. He's coming around the final corner now. What time's it going to be? Let's see what he can do. A 1:30.8, new fastest lap in qualifying. A few tenths quicker than Odom's currently right now, as we'll go on board with currently the championship points leader currently right now, Matthew Alder. Let's see what time he can do. As he's almost out of fuel, it looks like. So let's see what he can do round about turn 17 and 18. Hitting a bit of the curb there, nice and tidy, not under the rear, sliding out, now entering turn 19. Oh, runs extremely wide, and that is definitely, that is not an invalidation. How? That could be investigated, because he did go over track limits. He did 1:30.7, so Matthew will have to be careful there. As we'll go on board with Mark SP, who's now just made it back into the session. As hello, Brandon. Fortunately, you looks like you couldn't make it today. Do you have an? You should have an invite, mate. So you still have time. You've got 12 minutes to make it to the session, if you can. As Mark SP is now about to finish his lap, what time is he going to set against Matthew, Louis, and Odoms? Let's see what time he's going to do on those soft tyres. It's going to be close. It's going to be a 1:31.1. P3 beats Odoms there, but doesn't beat Louis or Matthew Alder. But Mark must be happy with that for third place currently. As we'll go on board. No, Brandon, that Sondre didn't say anything. Speaking about Sondre, he is about to start his lap, so let's see what the bottle can do today. He's using ERS mode 5, the slowest in the straight. The ERS mode 4 is quicker in the straight line, but he chooses the ERS mode 5, which he's more comfortable with. It's a nice and tidy through turn 1 there, no mistake as far. As approaching the very fast section, you've got to get this right, because if you get this right you can gain a lot of time. A nice and tidy there so far from Sondre. Got to make sure so you get this little chicane correct, because if you get it wrong you can either lose the front end or you can actually easily invalidate your lap if you turn too early. Now let's see what he can do on this main straight. Let's see what top speed he can get into this Renault. Decent exit there at turn 11, going flat out straight. It's still ERS mode 5 though, not going ERS mode 4. He's losing a bit of speed as he's going 204 miles an hour. His top speed now down the main straight. Approaching turn 12. Nice tidy exit there from Sondre. Into turn 13 and 14. Nice entry. What about the exit? Oh, Sondre's round. Sondre has messed the exit and he's crashed. Sondre will be probably at the back of the grid in qualifying, and that is going to be very disappointing, as Lee Kelly is just going to go past him now. So the McLaren of Lee Kelly, only McLaren, has almost made a mistake there at turn 16, coming into turn 79, 18 now, still pushing the car a little bit. Probably his heart was pounding a tiny bit there where he made that little mistake, because he could have done a Sondre. Much there for Sorhaug, as it looks like Lee's actually peeling to the pits, as we'll go on board with Harrison now. As Mark SP is actually letting us know in the chat that tyre temps are a bit of an issue for him, so we'll have to wait and see what Mark can do. As here comes Harrison now through the final corners. Let's see what he can do against his teammate Louis, who's currently in P2. Let's see what Harrison can do against him. He's coming around the final corner, bit of the rear kicked out, and takes third place. A few hundredths quicker than Mark, but a few tenths off Louis Welch, but P3 nonetheless for Alfa Romeo Racing there. As we'll go on board with Jay, who hasn't set a lap yet. He's not the only one who hasn't set a lap. Lee Kelly as well hasn't set a lap, as there was a Racing Point car as Khan gets out of the way of Jay. Scotty Jay is on a lap as he's in ERS mode 2, it looks like, down the straight. Let's see what he can do. Don't look like Jay's struggling there at all. None of the rear kicking out or anything like I've seen from the other drivers at the moment. He's on a set of medium, so I'm not expecting him to do a 30 something. It will be a 31 or 32, but not a 30 flat or anything like that. Let's see what he can do though around the final corner. Jay is absolutely pushing that Red Bull. See what speed he can get. It's going to be a 132 flat there from Jay with a set of mediums and promotes himself to P6. Only 8 tenths off his teammate, but his teammate is on a set of soft tyres. So let's see what Jay now can do for the fight of this championship today in this race. Hopefully he doesn't DNF. It was a bit of a upsetting day when he DNF'd and lost 25 valuable points against Matthew Alder. Speak about Matthew Alder, he will be starting his lap very shortly as he's coming around the final 2 corners. See what Matthew can do then on his second flying lap. Nice time there through turn 1, none of the rear kicking out at all. See what he can do in the fast section now. If he makes a mistake, he's going to lose too much time. Nice and tidy there through Matthew, absolutely riding those curbs, fighting the car. Trying to get as much speed and time as possible through this section now. He's going up to the little chicane, got to get this right as there's yells again in sector 2, so someone's gone off. See what Matthew can do. Entering now turn 11 on the big main straight. Oh, a bit of a lock up there from Matthew. That's going to affect him a little bit. See what Matthew can do as the Haas driver gets out of the way. I believe that is actually Cameron Young. It is Cameron Young because he's the only one on in the Haas on the medium tyres. Nice tyres so far there from Matthew as his fuel is now blinking now, so he must be low on fuel as he goes to first gear but short shifts straight to third gear out of that corner there. Nice and tidy for the fast right, none of the rear snapping out or anything. As last season in IRL F2, Marcel did lose the back end when he was battling with me, and Matthew doesn't make that mistake losing the back end at all as he, because loses the back end on the final corner there. That's going to cost him a lot of time, and it probably cost him to try and improve on his personal best. No improvement there for Matthew as far. As we're going to go on board with Louis Welsh, who I believe is on a lap, so we'll go on TV pod view and see what lap he can do. Let's see if he makes, how he takes these final few corners. Interesting, Louis actually there short shifts from second to third instead of first to third like Matthew did. Let's see what Louis can do. Coming now around the final 2 corners. Nice and tidy as far from Louis Welch. Will he beat Matthew Alder and take pole position? We'll have to wait and see, and it is almost 4 tenths improvement thereabouts. Louis Welch takes pole position currently. I know he will go out on another lap. There's still 5 minutes left of the session, so Matthew could improve and beat that lap, as I know he isn't on a lap now, I don't think. Mark SB, I don't believe he's on a lap either, but we'll stay on board him. No, he's not actually, he's not on a lap. His ERS mode is 0. As Lee Kelly still hasn't gone out after around about 10 minutes to 12 minutes being, he hasn't gone out on his lap yet. As I believe that is Odham's just leaving his pit box, so we'll go on board with Odham's now, because he will be the first one to start his new flying lap and the first one to be out on track, because I believe Louis will pit. So we'll stay on board with Odham's. He's just preparing for his lap. I've noticed he's actually burned a bit of his ERS there. If that is a strategy just to get his tyres warmed up, ready to temperature, or just to see how he's going to take sector 1 then. Will this be Matthew's new challenger though to the title fight with Louis Welch as well? Because we know Odham's and Louis Welch are pretty quick, and possible Harrison as well with Jay. There's a few quick drivers now probably going to take away a few points what Matthew's got so far. We'll have to wait and see what Matthew and all the other drivers can do against all the newcomers who are maybe a little bit faster. As now we'll go on board with Odams now. On the final 2 corners he goes for to start his flying lap, and I believe this will be his last flying lap as long as he doesn't make mistakes. He goes neutral there. As here we go, Odams now is starting his lap. As he goes straight to 8th gear, so he's the only one I've seen, I believe, go to actually 8th gear. As a nice and tidy so far through turn 1, none of the rear kicking out at all there. That's a good start there from Odams' lap. Now he's approaching turn 3, now 4, now turn 5, gets this right, now turn 6 rides those curbs and getting them beautiful there. Entering now turn 7, got to get this right into entry of turn 8 and 9 and 10. Got to get this section completely right, and that could have been an invalidation, that could have been a mistake, and it looks like it is. Odams will not be happy with that. What is he doing? That might be investigated because it could ruin somebody's lap. Now, was anyone out on a lap? No, that is definitely going to be investigated because you're not allowed to manually disqualify yourself, I believe, from the race. So Odams will be starting at the back of the grid in 10th then, it looks like, as Lee Kelly's now on an out lap. But I believe Louis actually will be the oh no, Louis is actually not the first one, it'll be actually Harrison then, who should be on that lap. Oh no, sorry, no, it's Jay who's actually on a lap. He's gone extremely wide. Oh no, who he's avoided there. So Jay's lap's been ruined. Hope he's got enough fuel and enough time to do another lap. So I believe we'll go on board with Harrison now, who's about to start his lap. See if Harrison has got any more pace in that Alfa Romeo to match his teammate, who's currently got a 30.4 the fastest lap, with Harrison's fastest lap currently a 131.1. It's currently around about 6 to 7 tenths behind his teammate. That's going to be a lot of time to find on this lap, but that's as far. Harrison nice to tidy through turn 1 as we go through a nose cam there. Now entering turn 2, absolutely flat out. Entering turn 3, now 4, now 5, now big long 6, got to get it right. Nice and tight as far there from Harrison, pushing the car to its extreme limits there. Get the chicane properly and done. Nice and tight now though through turn 11, now going down the back straight. Let's see what Harrison's sector 2 time will be, see if it's an improvement as he's now approaching turn 12. 3 tenths improvement there, so he's only found 3 tenths to his teammate, so it is going to be a low 30 if he can keep this up. See what Harrison can do now. He's in the sector 3 and he's got to get all this right because he could still lose that 3 tenths he's gained so far. He's now in turn 18, got to get this right. Have to get turn 19 as well bang on correct because that could be an invalidation. No invalidation there from Harrison. He's coming around the final corner to turn 20. Let's see what lap he is going to do as we will go on board with Matthew Alder. Harrison finds 5 tenths improvement and takes P2. Will this be Alfa Romeo's first 1-2 of the season? And will Renault have to worry about the Alfa Romeo team? As we'll stay on board with Matthew Alder. Is he any improvement in sector 1? Oh, we've passed sector 1 actually, so we have to wait until sector 2 see if he is improving. As Jay sets a new fastest lap, 130.3, so he steals the Alfa Romeo's glory and stops them getting a 1-2 and takes provisional pole position, and that is over for him with qualifying. They won't have enough time to do another run. However, Louis Welch has got enough time, as we will go on board with him. I believe he actually is ahead of Matthew, and he is. As here comes Louis Welch now around the final corner. What time is it going to be? Is it going to be an improvement? It is. A 130.2 takes the lead off Jay, but what about Matthew Alder? Will Matthew Alder beat both of those times from Jay and Louis Welch? We'll have to wait and see. as there is a car ahead of him. Oh, Matthew almost loses it there. He's come for the final corner. Let's see what Matthew Alder can do. What time is it going to be? Is it going to be a 1:29? It's going to be a 1:30.7 it looked like there. Or 30.1. But that is Matthew Alder for once. Actually didn't qualify first and he's in 5th place today. Over there we go with the official qualifying results. Louis Welch takes pole position with a 1:30.2. Great driving there from Louis. Second place is Jay with 1:30.3, only 900ths behind him, for very close for the first place. Harrison in 3rd, Mark Espy 4th, Matthew Alder in 5th. Not very good qualifying from our championship point leader. Cameron Young in 6th, Can in 7th, Sondre, who crashed out, in 8th, Lee Kelly, who didn't set a time, in 9th, and Odams, who manually disqualified himself, possibly maybe investigate, in 10th place. As it is dry for the race, so my race prediction I will go through. I believe Odams will win the race, with Matthew close second, with actually Jay in 3rd. I believe the Alfa Romeo team may make a few mistakes there, but we'll have to wait and see for that team, see what they can do. As well, we'll wait for everybody to get their setups correctly and hopefully no glitches today. Formation lap goes, as we'll go and see what the tyre strategies are. As I'll just make sure everything is correct. Yep, so the people all mainly on softs except Sondre and Lee Kelly. The Renault team and the McLaren think a mediums may be better option, possibly a 1-stop. I believe it is a 2-stop from softs. As Louis is making sure the pack doesn't get too close to him, as I believe he's actually slowed down quite a lot there. Only 10 cars racing today, so everyone is expected to get a point, unless they retire, of course, without the 90% rule. As Lee Kelly has already been disqualified, with Sondre Sorhaug and Can. So 7th, 8th and 9th have been disqualified, and Odams has driven a bit far back from the formation leader so he can get heat in his tyres, as Louis is controlling the formation lap quite well. Bit of inside information: the reason why Can and Sondre got disqualified from the formation lap, because apparently it looked like Can actually hit Sondre, but he is saying that he didn't even touch him, so we will have to wait and see. As Louis backs everyone up, as Jay is trying to be eager to get past Louis for the lead of the formation lap, but let's see who's going to get the lead into the first corner. Will it be the Red Bull driver Jay trying to get a better result from what happened in Canada, or will it be the debut Louis Welch? Will it be his first win from pole position and his first win in IRL? We'll have to wait and see. Or will Matthew Alder come strong from 5th place and take the win of this race? We'll have to wait and see, as the lights are about to go out, as we've got a nose cam for Louis which needs to change. As there we go, we're going to 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights now, and Sondre gets a drive through penalty for jumping the start of the race. That isn't good for the Renault team. And that drops him straight to 10th. Let's look at Odoms. Odoms has got a good start as now we'll go back to the grid. Hopefully no contact is made from any of the drivers there. Matthew promotes himself to 3rd place, so good start there from our championship point leader. However, Louis takes 1st, Jay 2nd, Matthew 3rd, Harrison 4th, Mark in 5th, Cameron Young in 6th. Oh, as Cameron runs a bit wide, it looks like there's Lee Kelly now in 8th, Can in 9th, and Sondre, who's got a drive-through penalty, in 10th. Isn't good there for Sondre there in USA. Let's currently we'll go back to the leader, who's pulled a gap already to Jay, 1.3 seconds, but Jay is absolutely getting swamped by Matthew, Alder, Harrison and Mark and Odoms currently right now. So let's see what Odoms can do as we'll go on board with him. Is he anywhere near Mark Espy? No, he's not. But Mark is on ahead, getting close to Harrison. Harrison's defending on the inside line. Will Mark go on the outside? We'll have to wait and see. As I go back into the cockpit move, there's a bit of moving under braking there from Harrison. But Harrison doesn't collide there with Mark, I don't believe. Let's look at Odoms. Look how close he is. He wants to get through this field. He knows he's quicker. We'll have to wait and see now as we'll go on board with Matthew Alder challenging the 2nd place Jay, who's in 3rd place in the driver's standings. Person who was 2nd last race, so Matthew wants to get more points ahead of Jay currently right now, as Louis Welsh has got over a gap of 1.8 seconds in the lead. Matthew, if Matthew wants to catch up with Louis, he has to get past Jay as soon as possible. As Sondre takes his drive through right now, as it's unfortunate as Sondre, even worse, gets a 5-second stop go penalty for speeding in the pit lane, it looks like. As we get a bit of nose cam, Matthew losing now a little bit of time of Jay's. Odoms has now made the move on Mark. However, Mark is now in trouble by his teammate and Lee Kelly. It's very close for Odoms gets his first 3-second time penalty of this race. Red Bull are currently 2nd and 5th place currently right now, so Jay will be happy that his teammate is doing very well in 5th and getting up the field quite well for the constructors standings. But currently Jay is losing a lot of time to Louis Welch, currently 1.8 seconds, but Matthew's still within 6/10 of a second, and DRS isn't active yet. As we'll go on board with Odoms, will he get past Harrison? Mark couldn't get past Harrison because he was under threat from Odoms as well, but Harrison again defends on the inside line. Odoms is not having it. Odoms wants the outside line. Let's see what Odoms can do. Late braking there from Odoms as he takes provisional P4 and takes 4th place from the back of the grid off Harrison, but Harrison's trying to go for the inside of the switchback. No can do there from Harrison, doesn't get the traction there. Is now Matthew Alder has to be wary now, look in his mirrors, because now he's got a Red Bull in front of him and a Red Bull behind him. It's a Red Bull sandwich for the Renault. But Harrison, sorry, not Harrison, Louis Welch is having a comfortable lead, knows what he's got to do, and has got a 2-second gap now to Jay. So the gap is still building between those two drivers. As Jay stays in 2nd place with Matthew in 3rd, as DRS is now enabled. So now this is where a few of the drivers will be able to close up and pull away in their gaps. As we'll say for the battle for 4th place almost, even 3rd place currently right now. Gordon Adams is over a second behind Matthew, as the 2 Haas drivers are getting close and personal with each other, 6th and 7th place. But they're trying to catch up with Harrison. Oh, look how close Cameron is actually getting towards his teammate. He's a lot faster in Sector 1, and Harris and Mark is now starting to realise this. And look how close Cameron's getting there through the little chicane as Mark runs extremely wide. Is this time for Cameron Young to get through? Will this be team orders or will they be racing? As here comes Cameron Young now in the inside of turn 11. In my opinion, I would have waited till on the main straight, stayed behind him, got a bit of slipstream, and yes, that's what he's doing. As Cameron Young now has got DRS, but so has Mark. Who's going to take the head of each other in the Haas drivers lineup? Will it be Cameron or will it be Mark into turn 12? Let's have to wait and see. Cameron Young's dip break and a bit of contact between teammates. That is a bit unfortunate there, but Mark is not quitting. He's on the inside line and stops Cameron getting through. This is costing him a lot of time, but Cameron's going again on trying the switchback move. Mark defending on the inside into turn 16, I believe. As it looks like there, Lee Kelly was actually getting involved. So 3 Nexus drivers there filing for 6th place currently, as Matthew Alder is closed up to Jay yet again. Now currently the gap is 4/10 of a second, but the gap between Jay and Louis Welch almost 2.6 seconds. As we'll stay on board with Matthew Alder now, who's slowly catching up to Jay. Look how close he catches on the braking. But it just looks like he's losing it through corner entry. We'll see how close Matthew can get this time within DRS. As Odoms is on a world of his own, currently now P4, no one really challenging him except Harrison now, only 6/10 behind. As Can now gets a 3-second time penalty added to his time. Let's look how close Matthew is. He's almost riding his gearbox there of Jay's. Jay needs to start to put more pressure on Harrison, because right now Harrison's got a gap of 2.9 seconds. The Red Bull driver is nowhere near Louis Welch, but here comes Matthew Alder now. Will Matthew take provisional second place? Or will Jay be able to defend the position, as Jay looks like he's defending really hard against Matthew, almost shoving him off the track as Matthew has to fight to get past Jay. And Jay tried his best, but Jay just tried the switchback and gets a better exit than Matthew. Alder goes around the outside. Oh, as Matthew's trying to show him a bit wide, but they're almost touching. Oh, Matthew has to give him a bit of room there as Jay defends and keeps his provisional P2 place and stops Matthew for taking the position. This is going to cost Matthew a lot of time against Odoms now, as currently the gap is a second. Oh, as look at Matthew trying to find a way through, but couldn't make a move there. Stick. As currently we'll stay on board with Jay now. Currently the gap between him and Louis, 3 seconds. As now Odoms is caught up now within DRS now, as Jay is defending on the inside into turn 1. Will Matthew late brakes to go on the outside into turn 1. Oh, as Jay cuts the corner a little bit, but Matthew still couldn't get through. It's very unfortunate there for Matthew, because this is costing him a lot of time as well. Welcome Eric to the stream. Thank you for saying awesome commentating, thank you very much. As Jay is defending from Matthew still, currently the gap is 2/10, so Matthew's now starting to peel the pressure to Jay. Matthew is pushing, he needs to get ahead. Currently now the gap between Louis and Jay, 3.5 seconds. Jay is losing too much time and too much pace to Louis. They're both on the same tide and the same amount of laps, and it looks like Jay's got nothing to answer against Louis. But what about Matthew? Matthew goes on the outside of Jay, gets already past him on the straight. Look how much speed that Renault had. What a move there from Matthew, and Matthew now can relax a little bit, but he knows he's still going to have to defend a little bit from Jay. As now we'll go on battle for P4 currently. Odoms is still within DRS of his teammate, but everyone from 3rd to 7th place is with DRS, as it looks like. I did get some radio information that Sondre and Can have collided, it looked like, apparently, unless that was for the disqualifying in the formation lap. However, Sondre is currently in 10th after the drive-through and currently 14.6 seconds off Can. Let's see what he is to the lead at 23 seconds, so almost a full pit stop. As Louis is flying currently right now, but Jay's not giving up. Jay wants P2 back. Oh, as Matthew was trying to defend, but wasn't expecting Jay to do the switch back, as who's got the better exit? It looks like Jay. Matthew's still on the inside. Oh, this is going to be close. Almost contact. Two championship rivals. Almost contact there through the fast S section, but Matthew drops back a little bit, trying to make it the inside in. Jay again on the S section, but doesn't make it work. But look at Odoms now. He's getting hungry. He's getting close to this battle. Currently now the 6/10 of a gap to Matthew now. So Matthew needs to get past him before Odoms catches up and passes him and Jay. This is an amazing battle for P2 right now. Only 10 cars. Matthew's already gone into turn 11 on the inside as Jay had a bad exit. Sondre gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, as Jay and Matthew, look at Matthew shoving Jay there. That could be investigated there. You can't really shove a car off the line if he's defending there. You've got to give him the position, as Odoms is fighting with his teammate, and Odoms is going to make a move on his teammate, stop his teammate. Try the switchback, which has now cost Jay 2 positions there, but now Odoms is going to challenge Matthew. Hasn't been battling with a lot of people. He had a very good start, got past a few drivers, but look at Jay. Jay's coming back at his teammate, almost shoves him off the track. No love lost between these two drivers, both teammates, but showing great racing there, wheel to wheel. As currently Matthew now has got past about, oh, it looked like the Alfa Romeo almost lost it there of Harrison, but currently Mark is closing up. Oh, as Mark almost makes a little mistake there as well. As wait a minute, what has Jay just done? Oh, Jay's going in the pits. I thought he was doing a aggressive dive there, but he isn't, as Matthew Alder now 4.6 seconds from Louis, but gaining now, so he's the only one who's gaining. Odoms has now dropped back to a second. Harrison right behind Odoms as well with 3/10. Mark with 5/10 to 6/10 off Harrison. This is what it's been like for a few laps, as I've just noticed Lee Kelly's in between the Haas drivers. So Lee's got past Cameron Young, so Cameron Young must have made a mistake somewhere, as Khan is in 8th currently right now. Dropping back a tiny bit. But nonetheless, he still has his yellows in Sector 1. There's Jay after his pit stop. He's bottled it in Turn 1. That is going to cost him a lot of time. And that could cost him possibly. And he's retired. He is furious. He cannot believe what has happened and has called it quits. And that has cost him more points in the championship. As Louis Welsh keeps the lead, still 5 seconds now against Matthew Alder, but Matthew Alder is under threat from Ordums now. Ordums is now starting to pick up the pace, and Matthew is in trouble. As that big battle with Jay cost his tyres life, and Ordums' tyres are a lot better than Matthew Alder's. We'll have to wait and see. As Ordums is just waiting to see where Matthew's going to make a little bit of a mistake. But look how close this battle is. 2nd to 6th place currently right now. We're having a huge scrap. As Mark Espy now gets the 3-second time penalty added to his time, as Harrison peels into the pits, with his teammates still staying out. As also Mark Espy also peels into pits as well, so these lot are doing the undercut. As currently Ordums is in 3rd place with his teammate out of the race. Red Bull are not going to get the maximum points they could have got today, so Ordums has got a lot of pressure to score points for his team and try and catch up with Matthew Alder in the championship, as well as Matthew gets a 3-second time penalty added to his time. And I believe Ordums has only got 1 as well, so both from equal on penalties, I believe, as Louis Welsh has actually got none. And Lee Kelly now gets a 3-second time penalty, but look how close Lee Kelly's getting at Ordums. Where's this pace come from the youngster? It's possible actually the soft tyres are wearing out quite much, and the mediums are actually now starting to pick up the pace. Wait and see. Lee's still waiting for these two to make a little mistake. If I was Lee, I'll just wait, be patient, and if one of them make a mistake, take the opportunity and overtake. As it looks like Cameron Young's now just got past Khan, it looks like. So a battle further down for P5 for 10 points, or 8 points currently. As driver against the Racing Pointers. Look how close Khan's getting to Cameron Young though. This is a possible scrap, which they don't really want because it'll be costing them time against the guys who have pitted. What about Ordums? Louis Welch is in, Matthew is in, Ordums stays out, so does Lee Kelly. So Louis Welch, Matthew Alder are peeling into the pits. But now, will Lee Kelly get ahead of Ordums and lead, I believe, his first ever IRL F1 race? Or will Ordums stop him doing that objective? Because currently now Ordums is in provisional lead. But what about Louis Welch? Is he going to get jumped by anyone out of the pits? We'll have to wait and see. As look where Sondre is. No, don't even look close to anyone jumping him. As here comes Louis Welch in P3. What about the Renault teammates? As Harrison, Harrison's going to get ahead of Matthew Alder. Oh, that's team order. It's definitely there from Sondre. Sondre lets him through. He knows he has to peel into the pits. And Harrison gets past either way against Sondre. It's now up against Matthew, against Harrison. Battling possibly for a podium position. As currently we'll go on board with Lee Kelly, who's actually got ahead of Ordums. So Ordums has made a mistake somewhere. And the youngster is leading his first IRL F1 race, I believe. The last race he led was in IRL F2 last season. I believe that was Japan. And currently now Lee Kelly, the youngster, person who's picked up his pace from full traction to no traction, is leading this race with a gap of 1.2 seconds up Ordums. As Ordums is in 2nd, his tyres must be through the roof right now. Gap between him and Louis though, 10 seconds. However, the gap between him and Matthew is 16.8, and the way it's going, Ordums is going to be where Sondre is, because I believe the pit stop round here is around about 18 seconds to 20 seconds. So Ordums has lost a lot of time. Is Lee pitting? No, he doesn't. What about Ordums? Ordums pits. So as we stay on board with Mark now, as Ordums does peel in the bits, will Ordums get ahead of any of the drivers? As Harrison is in 5th, currently a 2nd off Matthew Alder there. As Ordums in the pits, tyres changed, everything. Louis Welch retakes P2. currently net leader right now. But what about Matthew Alder? Will Matthew get ahead of Odoms? Yes, he does. What about Sondre? Sondre gets ahead of Odoms. It looks like it's going to be. And so does Mark. So Mark has jumped Odoms from that undercut. So the undercut has worked. But he's almost out of ERS and looks for a little lunge into turn 1. But can't make it stick against Sondre. But Sondre's tyres are going to start going. There's this damage on the Haas driver's front wing there. He's lost a bit of his end plate. As the two drivers are scrapping for 10 points. The P5 with Cameron Young in 7th. So Odoms has been jumped by a lot of people. Odoms' mistake has cost him a lot of time, and he's at back of the grid. As Lee Kelly's still in the lead, currently got a gap of to the place he will be if he pits. He's possibly going to take 5th place from Sondre. Sorry, 4th place from Sondre there, ahead of Sondre, and Harrison will possibly go to 3rd. This is going to be very good for Lee now. Lee's overcut actually might work with the medium tyres, as Louis only slowly catching on the same tyre. But the way I see it, as Mark Espy's finally got past Sondre, but Sondre's trying to switch back, but doesn't make it work, as Mark is really making him defend. Great defending there from Mark against Sondre, and Sondre has no joy of getting ahead of the Haas driver, and Sondre still needs to pit as he runs extremely wide. But that's one Haas driver Sondre has lost against. It's now going to possibly be another with a full front wing. So he'll be under more of attack as Louis Welsh sets a new fast start, 135 flat. With Cameron Young just waiting in the wings from Sondre, as this is the only battle, I believe, on track currently right now. And it is the only battle. Actually, Odoms is catching up with Can, so we will catch up with Odoms very soon after he catches up on Can within 3/10. Do apologise there for me yawning, and it's actually stopped me talking there. As Cameron Young takes the inside in turn 1 of Sondre, and Sondre has no way to make that position back. And currently Odoms now battling with Can in the S section. Look how much Odoms is gaining against Can. Can's going to have to watch his mirrors, because that Red Bull is hungry for some points today. Is Lee Kelly still in the lead, but 7.3 seconds now. He's losing a lot of time. Currently the lead against him and P4 right now is 16.4 seconds. So Lee soon will need to pit for a set of hard tyres. As here comes Can. Is Can going to be able to defend? As I've just noticed, Cameron Young's got to pass his teammate as well. So Cameron Young is on fire currently right now in P5. Probably team owners there as well, as Mark did have damage on his wing, as Odoms gets past Can quite easily there done. As we'll go back on board with the battle for 5th place, actually, 2 Hasses and a Renault. As Matthew Alder gets another time penalty added to his time. This is a very rare for Matthew Alder to start getting time penalties, as Louis sets a new fastest lap, 134.9. Currently the gap between Louis and Matthew, 7.1 seconds, as Mark peels into the pits. That front wing is killing him, and he has to pit. So there's a possible battle later on in the race between him and Sondre. So we know Sondre will have to pit again. Now Odoms moves up to 7th place, with Lee Kelly still leading this race after 12 laps. Lap 12, and he still hasn't pitted. So within 3 laps I believe he will pit, as currently Cameron Young now gets a 3-second time penalty. As there's no battles really on track. So we'll have a look at the championship points leader today. He isn't going to get the maximum points at the moment, so he's going to lose a bit of points to Louis Welsh. No one can overtake him today. The only well, except Mark possibly, but Jay retired, and unfortunately for Jay, he retired from the race, and looks like Mark's going to catch up. Matthew Alder in 3rd place, 7.4 seconds of the gap. As Martin said, I don't know what Sondre's. Why, what do you mean? What's Sondre done? So Martin just says Sondre has done something wrong. Oh, Sondre tries for a little aggressive dive bomb on Odoms. It's very rare for the Norwegian driver of Sondre challenging Odoms right now. But those tyres must be through the roof. He has to pit. Might as well pit, go to hard, and then he just pushes it. So look at him, he almost loses it. and almost goes into the pit. Sondre is struggling on those tyres. He should have pitted. That is a silly decision from the Renault driver there, as Autumn sets a new fastest lap, 1:34.8. So Sondre is in big trouble. It may be silly, Martin, mate, but it is in against the rules. You can defend aggressively if you want. Unfortunately for Martin to getting wing damage. If he has the incident, if he wants to report the incident, then he will have to send the footage to the admins. But it's sad to hear that he got wing damage, but it's racing nonetheless, as Lee Kelly's gap between Louis Welch was 8 seconds earlier. Now it's 4.1 as Jay's now left the session and is furious for what happened, it looks like there, as Lee needs to pit. He's losing time. If he wants a podium, he needs to pit soon. After Sondre pits though, I believe he actually may be in the battle possibly with Mark. Now Mark is slowly catching up with Can. Still got a big gap of 18.4 seconds, but Sondre still has to pit, so there is a battle possibly near the end of the race. Lee Kelly stays out for another lap. Now we're on lap 14 as Lee Kelly still leads this race with Louis Welch in second place, Matthew Alder in third place currently right now. Fifth is Harrison, as Autumn gets another 3-second time penalty equal to Matthew. It's Harrison in fourth, Cameron Young in P5 after his return against Autumn's now. These two will be coming to blows very soon, as Sondre, who will have to pit again, currently in 7th. Can in 8th, now slowly looks like catching up with Sondre, so there is a battle now forming, but there is a battle closer ahead for P5 and Mark SB in 9th, as Harrison now gets a 3-second time penalty again, it looks like. The only two drivers who haven't got penalties is Louis Welch and Lee Kelly. Let's look how close Autumn's is catching up against Cameron Young. A Nexus driver versus a VSR driver. Who's going to win this event? This little fight these two drivers are going to have. I would say the Nexus driver, but Autumn's is on fresher tyres and is on the faster tyre compound against Cameron Young. We'll have to wait and see what Autumn's can do. But Cameron's still ahead of Autumn's currently right now after the first sector. But now Autumn's is on the inside and ready to enter turn 12. But will Cameron go back on his inside? Nope. Looked like Cameron actually just led him through there. He is on a different tyre strategy, so maybe the hard tyres may come to play against Autumn's near the end of the race. As now the closest battle now is Sondre and Can. Sondre should be pitting soon. On lap 15 though, but he still hasn't pitted, so I wonder how long these medium tyres can last. As will Sondre pit? No, Sondre stays out yet again, and that is it. He is under threat now from Mark, who's in 9th now, who from the pit stops, and also that Can is now within DRS range, so Sondre will be having a battle with Mark very shortly. But Mark will be faster on the medium tyres, since Sondre will have to pit on hards. Unless Sondre is staying out to lap 20 and going on a set of soft tyres to try and steal the fastest lap. Possible, because that is actually quite possible actually. There's only 5 more laps till lap 20, and I know the softs can make it 8 laps. So it could be a possible one stop then with soft to medium or soft to hard. I'll have to wait and see though. No other battles on track. This is the only battle. Racing Point versus a Renault. And look how close Can's getting to Sondre. Sondre's tyres have to be dead. This is a very weird strategy if this is what Sondre is doing, because Lee Kelly's managing to pull it off and still hold pole position, as currently he's now getting challenged from the the net leader, who was net leader, Louis Welch. But currently Can is so close to Sondre. He knows he can get past Sondre in a few laps. At least it's out for another lap, so Lee and Sondre must be going on a one-stop strategy currently right now. Let's look at Matthew though. He's not really getting any time really to Lee Kelly at all. Currently now the gap is 8 seconds against him and Louis, so it's 8.3 against him and Lee Kelly now. As we'll go on board with a battle for the gap to the leader for Lee's when he pits. Lee looks like he's going to go to 5th or even 6th place now after he stayed out this long on those tyres, but he will be on possibly on the softest tyres and probably be able to fight his way through the field and quicker than everybody else and possibly steal the fastest lap. The fastest lap is a 134.8 from Odams, who's in 5th place right now, so he will be getting 11 points if it stays this way. However though, this is now the battle for the lead. Will Lee Kelly lose this lead against Lee? Lee's going to go on the outside, and it looks like Lee's just let him through, and Louis already got past him, as now we'll go on board with Sondre as he is under threat from Can. Look how close Can's getting to to Sondre. Sondre's strategy is not the smartest strategy I've seen from the Bottle Hog, because this is a Bottle Hog in strategy anyway. Because right now this is going to cost him so much time as he's defending on the inside. Look how close Can's getting as Sondre defending on the inside. Can's on the outside on the harder tyres as Can looks like he's going to get it on the outside, almost touching wheels there. And here comes Can. Goes on the inside, passes the Bottle Hog himself, but Ball is still there. Goes on the inside, but Can's smart. Tries to switch back and makes it work perfectly, but he's going to have to go on the outside. Doesn't work this time. So yet again, Sondre is actually over defending there because he will be pitting very soon, and this could cost Can a lot of time against Mark Espy now, because currently the gap between him is 12.4 seconds. Sondre still doesn't pit, and neither does Lee Kelly. They're staying out for another lap. Well, look how close Can is. Will Can, and that is another defensive move. That's his last defensive move Sondre can make this lap, as Lee Kelly gets a 3-second time penalty as Can overshoots his braking zone and loses the position again to Sondre, and this is frustrating him as we'll go on board with Odams right now as he's so close to Harrison. It's unbelievable. Those medium tyres are starting to work now as Sondre gets a 3-second time penalty. We'll go back on board with that battle very soon. The gap is all under 4/10 of a second, but look how close Harrison is of getting overtaken against Odams right now, as Cameron's not that far off these two, as Harrison is defending on the inside line but goes back into the slipstream, probably going to go for a little dive. No, he doesn't. Odams holds P4, but we'll go back on board with Can and Sondre. We'll go on board with telemetry. Look how much ERS these two have, hardly any, as Can is low on fuel. Will Can finally gets shot of Sondre, and no, yes, maybe, yes he does, finally gets ahead of Sondre, but Sondre's going for a big aggressive dive and wants that position back. Can must be getting annoyed under that helmet, but Can's now going for the aggressive dive, trying to get his gears sorted, tries to block him off, but this time it still doesn't work. Every move Can's doing, Sondre is defending it, as Lee finally pits on a set of soft tyres, going to possibly try and do 10 laps on those softs. Will Sondre pit? We'll have to wait and see. No, Sondre stays out, but Lee Kelly will try and steal the fast lap from Odams, who's currently in 3rd place. Odams took 3rd place back off Harrison right now, but will possibly be under threat from Lee Kelly very soon because he'll be on the fastest tyres. Can finally gets past Sondre tries to switch back, but it fails this time. Can said thank you very much, and you're not having this position back. You've had your chance, and that is it. Can is now took P7, but Sondre will not give up. I know Sondre is a fighter for the positions. I have raced against him before. He is quicker, and he is not a person who will give up for this position at all, but he will have to give up very soon because now Mark is 7.5 seconds. So it looks like Sondre will be finishing P9 today after he's lost a lot of time after that drive through. But nonetheless, the bottle is showing us how to fight in a race, as it looks like Harrison's got a problem because now Cameron's on the same amount of tyre, faster tyre by 1 lap possibly, but is now under threat from Cameron Young. Oh, as Sondre is now battling back against Can. Can thought he got ahead, and now Sondre is back ahead of the position. Sondre doesn't need to fight this. In my opinion, you should let him go and just stay close behind him because he's losing so much time against Mark. As Can again is on the inside, but I'm going to have to go for the battle for P4 very soon because it's almost a 3-car battle, and it is a 3-car battle now, as Cameron and Lee battling for P4 from Harrison, as Louis gets his first 3-second time penalty, cutting the gap between him and Matthew Alder, 8.6 seconds. Sondre finally pits. Has there been contact? No, there isn't. So Sondre finally pits. from Can. And look how close Lee Kelly is getting to Cameron Young. Two Nexus teammates in the esports era, but different in IRL. Not teammates in IRL, fighters. But look how close Lee is. Lee is faster on the softer compound. And Lee's just buying his time now. As Harrison still P4. As look how much Cameron's defending. No, a bit of contact it looked like there actually from Lee Kelly and the Cameron Young as Cameron turns in, but Lee has shoved him off a tiny bit off the track, and Lee has took the position from his fellow Nexus driver and taken P5. So it's a very disappointing day for Haas today though in the constructor standings, currently 6th and 8th, but not a very good day for Renault. They are going to get more points than Haas, but Sondre is having a very bad day today. He's currently in 9th, but look at Lee Kelly. He's fighting. He's aggressive now today. What has Lee been eating? Because I've never seen him so fast against Louis Welch, especially one of the top guys in time trial as well, and one of the top guys in ILRT. But that is a late defense move there from Louis Welch, but Lee Kelly is going to go on the outside on the faster tyres. Mark Espigao gets a 3-second time penalty, and Lee Kelly, the youngster, gets around the outside of Harrison. Sorry, I apologise there. Harrison. I was saying that was Louis Welch there. I do apologise. It was Harrison he actually got past, and now he's got Odums ahead, 2.6 seconds ahead for third place position. Will this be the first time we see Lee Kelly get actually a podium position in today in IRL? We'll have to wait and see. But the battle with Harrison and Cameron isn't finished, or with Lee actually, because Lee hasn't really pulled away. But he is on the faster tyre. What about the fastest lap? Did Lee steal it? No. Lee's fastest time on those soft tyres was 1:35.6. Sondre's fastest lap was a 1:36.7. So nowhere near Odums' lap right now. It's looked like Harrison actually tried to make a move, but didn't make it work, as he's now going to have to be careful from Cameron Young now. He's currently in 6th place, wants that P5. Sondre now gets a 3-second time penalty added to his time. And look at that, 1 minute off the leaders. Any comments though voting against Lee Kelly and Odums? Do you think Lee Kelly will have enough time to catch up with Odums and overtake Odums, or will Odums be a defending masterclass against Lee Kelly and stop him getting third position? Tell me what you guys think in the comments, because I believe Lee actually could get past Odums right now. I know Odums is very talented on F1, but so is the youngster of Lee Kelly, getting up to speed of a few of these drivers. And Lee's actually made the best strategy call, starting from the back of the grid almost, like at 9th, but so was Odums actually starting at the back of the grid from 10th after he manually disqualified himself. We'll have to wait and see. As Lee Kelly now, the gap between him is 1.9 seconds against Odums. Those soft tyres won't be the best though soon, so if Lee wants to catch up, he's going to have to do it within the next 3 laps, or then it's game over. Sondre, the bottle hog, sets the new fastest lap, 1:33.7. So he steals the fastest lap from Lee Kelly and Odums, and look how close Lee Kelly got to the fastest lap, 1:34.9. Currently the gap between him and Odums are 1.9 seconds, so in my opinion actually Odums in a few laps, third place could be safe, and Lee Kelly could be in jeopardy. As Cameron Young now is fighting with Harrison. Oh, a bit of wheel banging from the LR driver and the Nexus driver, as Harrison defends on the inside, and Harrison keeps the position as far from Cameron. It's currently up between Lee and Odums, still 1.9 seconds, so Odums is managing the gap quite perfectly. But Odums against Matthew is 8.6 seconds, and Matthew against Lewis is also 8.6 seconds. This reminds me of IRL F2, where the top 3 was actually 20 seconds apart, with Tyler Rhodes winning the race, me in 2nd, and I believe Paco Suarez in 3rd. But that was IRL F2. This is IRL F1 Season 6. It's total different. New game, new drivers, and new threats. As Odums gets a 3-second time penalty. I did forget about that. Lee's only got 1 and Odums has got a few, so Lee actually could win it by penalties to get that podium position. could be unfortunate for Adams for his debut race, as Harrison is really close to Lee Kelly. As surprisingly, actually, what's really amazed me is Mark was 17 seconds off Can, is now 1.4 seconds off Can. So that battle in between Can and Sondre is really costing him a lot of time, and Mark's done perfectly to exploit this and catch up to Can. Currently 1.2 seconds, a possible battle we possibly will go on. As we'll go back on board with Cameron. Will he have a look of a dive? He thinks about it. Almost rear ends there. Harrison there. He just forgets to brake and almost rear ends him, as Sondre yet again gets a 3-second time penalty. Will he be disqualified? I had seen him in the summer season in Mexico getting disqualified, but no. And I think this is it now. Game over almost for Lee Kelly to try and overtake Odams right now, because currently the gap is 2 seconds and there's only a few more laps, and I believe those tyres will only last one more lap and then they will be dead. But got a big enough gap against Harrison, currently 3 seconds, as Cameron now gets a 3-second time penalty added to his time. Allison was very unfortunate last race after, I believe he did get some points, but he had a bit of contact with Matthew Alder in Canada, and also a bit of contact with Jay, I believe, or one of the, sorry, Brandon Glove, that was it, not Jay, it was Brandon Glove he had a bit of contact with, but he's done alright this race currently. He's still P5, but he's under threat by Cameron, all over him, as Lee's now closed out again against Alder, 1.9 seconds. Currently it looks like, I believe Cameron actually may be running a higher downforce than Louis, because he's just not gaining enough on the straight, but in the corners he's gaining a lot of time against Harrison. We'll have to wait and see. Will Harrison lose his position this time to Cameron? Cameron's getting more fights. He will go for a late lunge. No, yes, he does, round the outside this time, and this hasn't been Harrison's strong point, but he defends this time quite easily. But you know Cameron, he has to go for the lunge. Harrison has to give him space. Harrison does give him space, still has to give him space, and Harrison is giving Cameron there a lot of space. Oh, my brain went a bit dead there. But great driving between these two drivers, but currently Lee's now losing a lot of time against Odams, 2.5 seconds with only 4 laps to go, with Louis leading with 9 seconds, with Odams gaining on Matthew 7.7 seconds, but it is too late to gain up on Matthew because they're both equal on penalties. So even if Matthew in penalties, he'll still keep second, as Sondre gets another penalty, as actually the battle for P7 is hotting up. Mark is now slowly catching up with Can. If that goes under 3/10, we will go on board with it, but currently the battle ahead is more important. Both Haas drivers are battling for some points. Currently Mark is battling for 4 points and Cameron is battling for 10, so 14 points Haas could possibly get today will be crucial with their championship standings against Red Bull, because Red Bull are third, I believe, in the constructor standings, so they're a possible fight with the Renaults, and Alfa Romeo will be getting some decent points as well. Possible right now 35 points, but may go to 33, I believe, 32, I believe anyway. As look at Louis defending on the inside yet again, but Cameron on the outside. Louis has to give him room, but this time Cameron's a lot closer, almost shoving Louis, shoving, I don't know why I'm getting these two mixed up. Getting Harrison off the track. Well, look at Harrison defending on, going for a lunge on the inside. Almost takes Cameron Young's wing off there. A very aggressive dive from Harrison there. But nonetheless, he keeps the position P5. Cameron won't be happy with that move though, and Cameron will be fighting back as Harrison gets another time penalty added to his time. As Lee Kelly's now gap between him and Odams 3 seconds, with lap 25 beginning, and currently the lead is Louis Welch first, Matthew Alder in second, so he'll be happy with a second place. Odams in third, Lee Kelly currently fourth, Harrison defending for 5th place for his life right now against Cameron Young in 6th. Mark Espy, after a bit of contact between him and Sondre and have to do a 2-stop, is currently 7th place. Can currently 8th on those hard tyres, just having one of those days, and Sondre, who's had the worst day of all, with a bad look in qualifying, crashing out with a drive through jump in the start and a bit of contact apparently with him and Mark, has dropped him to P9, 14 seconds as Can gets another time penalty added to his time. As Louis still leads almost 10 seconds now. As Harrison and Cameron are still battling out in turn 12. Harrison has to give Cameron room. Cameron is there as we'll go on board with a TV pod move. Will Harrison defend on the inside? Yes, he does. But Cameron smart goes for the switchback and gets a better exit than Harrison. But Harrison's still there on the inside, going to get the inside corner through the lunge. But Harrison keeps the position from Cameron, but Cameron knows he's quicker than Harrison, a lot faster in the straights, all over right now, but he just cannot make the move stick. This was like the battle between Can and Sondre. Can was making the moves but couldn't get past. Will Harrison now be able to defend again? We'll have to wait and see, but now Cameron Young takes the inside into turn 1, gets his braking perfect. But what about Harrison? No, Harrison loses his position finally to Cameron Young. Cameron says thank you and takes that position, and now going to try and pull away as that Haas will be on a bit, one lap fresher tyres, I believe, against Harrison. As you can see, I'm definitely still not getting used to these new drivers. It's Cameron holding P5 as Louis is on lap 26, I believe now. Well, going to be on lap 27 on the penultimate lap. Autumn's has catched up by 2 seconds within a few laps to Matthew, but it's too little too late with the penalty situation. But he's built up a stable gap now to Lee Kelly, 5 seconds, so Lee actually could not get third, and we could see Autumn's in third place in the podium interview today. So 2 VSR drivers currently second and third, but getting beaten by an ILRT driver in first, with Louis Welsh currently in the lead with 10.8 seconds right now. Louis is showing his pace. Start qualified pole and currently in the lead on his penultimate lap, as we'll go back on board with Cameron Young, who's lost the position against Harrison now. So what has happened between these two? We don't know. I haven't seen any contact, any wing damage on Cameron's car, but what about Autumn's? Can't see anything right now. No wing damage there on Harrison there. It's currently the gap between Autumn's and Lee Kelly, 5.2 seconds. But Autumn's against Matthew, 5.3 seconds. It's currently the gap between Matthew and Louis, 11.1 seconds. Louis is just eating in Matthew's time. And Matthew did say, I believe, he would get possibly a podium. I don't believe he said he would win it. So he will be happy with a podium then, as Mark Espy now gets a penalty added to his time. Could be crucial against Can, because I don't believe Can's actually got a penalty. It's going the gap between Sondre and Can, 16 seconds. Sorry, Mark against Sondre, 16 seconds, but gap between Sondre and Can, 13.3 seconds. As we'll go on board with Louis Welsh in a minute, because he's about to start his last lap of today. As here comes Louis Welsh coming around the final corner to start his last lap, from leading from the start to the finish. Only great strategy from him today right now as he starts his last lap, as Matthew looks like he's going to take second. I don't believe he's going to lose it on penalties against Autumn's, but Autumn's is flying. You've definitely put Red Bull Energy Drink in that car, because he's gained a lot of seconds against Matthew and pulled a lot of seconds against Lee, so Lee could lose P3. Harrison still in 5th place, with Cameron Young not being able to get past him in 6th. Mark in 7th currently right now, got a stable gap against Can with 3.5 seconds. Can in 8th though, after he's done the stop. We'll be happy to beat Sondre in 9th. Sondre is with the number 9 he has got, so he is 9th right now, and he's still got the fastest lap, I do believe. Yep, he has got the fastest lap, so he will take 3 points for Renault today. So Renault is going to get 21 points in the constructors currently right now. We'll have to wait and see on penalties, as the closest battle is Louis and Harrison and Cameron Young. I will get Harrison correctly, his name right. I'm just not used to these two drivers, 'cause it was two different drivers who one's a reserve, one unfortunately left the league. But Alfa Romeo are happy currently right now. It looks like as Cameron is going to make a late attack. He's going to go on the outside, but nonetheless I'm going to have to cut this short, because I'm going to have to go on board with Louis as he's coming around the final corner to win his debut race, to win the USA Round 5. Well done there for Louis Welch, as Matthew Alder couldn't challenge him, but good result from 5th in P2. There, great driving there from Matthew Alder, as Odham's in P3, starting from the back of the grid after he disqualified, in 3rd, but is it 3rd? Lee Kelly 8.4 seconds. Now, has Lee got any penalties? I believe he has got 1, but will this affect him against Odham's? Will he take 3rd? No, he doesn't. Odham's keeps 3rd by 5.5 seconds. So Lee had more than what I thought, as Harrison does crash out on the line as Cameron takes 6th. Mark Espy will take 7th. So not a very good drive there from Harrison, as Can takes P8 there and will be happy with 4 points, as Sondre is going to take the fastest lap point and take 2 points. With the fast lap will be 3 points, so Renault will take 21 points against. And look on penalties, how much the gap between Louis and Matthew, 20.7 seconds, and Sondre takes P9 after a drive through and a pit stop and a bit of contact with Mark. Nonetheless, even with a low turnout with 10 drivers, it's been a great race, as we go and see Louis Welch on the top step of the podium. Will this be every race weekend? Will Matthew now have to attack more, get more aggressive in the race, or will he just be Mr. Consistent and win the championship that way? But he's got 2 new rivals, basically Odham's and Louis Welch, to defend against in the championship, but no one's passed Matthew. He will still be in the lead of the championship, but we know Louis and Odham's goal is to try and win the championship against Matthew. So there you have it. The official result is coming up right now, as Louis wins the race with only 3 seconds of penalties, with a 20-second gap against Matthew Alder there. It would have been 23 if he didn't have the penalty. Matthew Alder in 2nd from 5th, and Odham's will get my drive of the day in 3rd place with 10, starting 10th and getting 3rd. So the Irish drivers have done very well, 3rd and 4th. Lee Kelly 4th, Harrison in 5th. 6th place is Cameron Young, and 7th place is Mark. 8th place is Can there. 9th place is Sondre Sorhaug, the bottle job himself, and 10th place is Jay after he retired, but unfortunately will not get any points added to his championship there. So very unfortunate there for Jay, as now we will get ready for podium interviews. So it will be Louis Welch, Matthew Alder yet again on the podium. I believe that's his 5th consecutive podium in this race. So Matthew is being Mr. Consistent, as I'll just invite those 3 to the podium interviews currently right now. So I'll just invite where they are. There's Matthew Alder. I need ILRT Louis. I believe that's him. And there we go. The invites have been sent. So we'll hopefully have the 3 drivers on the podium in the interview very soon. Matthew and Odham's have made it to the session. Do you guys know if Louis joining or? Alright, that's fine. Alright, we'll start off with the championship point leader, Matthew Alder. So Matthew, very poor qualifying there, 5th place. You've got 2 new fighters there, as Odham's is one of them and Louis. They beat you in, well, Odham's did beat you in quali, Louis beat you in quali. What were you expecting within the race? Were you actually thinking you could win it, or were you happy what position you got today?
Yeah, I don't think I could have won it because I started in P5. If I started in P2 I could have, because I could have just followed Louis. But that wasn't going to happen since I started P5. So, yeah, I'm happy with where I finished.
Oh yeah, it's your 5th consecutive podium. Are you going to try and get podiums at every race?
Possibly.
No.
We'll have to see. Probably going
to
to
try and DNF.
Well then, another question I've got to ask you, Matthew. Your teammate unfortunately jumped the start and got a bit of contact with Mark. Do you think that's going to hurt you later on in the season with the constructors? Do you think Sondre's going to have to step up his game, or do you think you're safe currently right now?
Well, he's doing better than I expected him to, so I don't really mind as long as he keeps picking up some points every race.
Well then, the final question I am going to ask you is, I believe it's Monaco next week. Are you looking forward to that race, or no? Not at all. Can I ask you, where do you think you're going to finish or qualify?
DNF.
DNF, oh. So will Matthew's consecutive podium streak end at Monaco? We'll have to wait and see. Thank you there, Matthew, with that little interview. As now I'll go on board with Odham's. Well done today,
Hi.
starting from the back of the grid. That's qualification. But great drive there you had for 3rd place, your first podium and your debut race. What do you think of everybody else? Like, are you going to be a challenge against Matthew in the championship, or?
Well, I'm not going to be able to race Monaco, so
Okay.
no, I don't think I will challenge. And
Well,
by not being able to race Monaco, I mean I refuse to race Monaco.
Ah, right. Okay. So Odham's will not be racing Monaco. That's fine. Well, you must be thrilled though with starting at the back of the grid and getting 3rd nonetheless, and you were gonna, it looked like you were actually gonna lose 3rd from Lee Kelly with penalties, but then Lee must have had a few more penalties added to his time, which I didn't notice. So
He also wasn't very quick and I just drove away from him.
as well. Well then, well, I can't ask you that last question, what you're going to be in Monaco, because you're not going to be there. I believe after Monaco it's...
Ask me what I think about Lewis.
Alright then, yeah, I'll ask you, what do you think of Louis today then?
I think he's fat. I think he is above average weight, and he's really good at this game, and it kind of annoys me.
So possible rival there with Odham's and Louis, and also with Matthew. Well then, thank you two for joining me in the interview. Great racing from both of you there, well deserved podium positions. Well, this has been International Racing League, being your host Jared Fosbury for comms today. Hopefully you guys can see me tomorrow for IRL F2, and hopefully I can win USA, as I said in the interviews last week. But join us tomorrow for IRL F2 and F3 at 4:30 UK time, and I'll see you guys then. Goodbye for now.